Time now for First Alert Weather with meteorologist Rob Nucatola.
Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. A little different feel outside this morning, and have some numbers that start with the 6. Going to see that happen a little bit more over the next couple of days. I'm still expecting those mid-80s. That's where we got to yesterday. So it's going to be about the same this afternoon. Maybe you notice a little tiny bit more of that humidity that'll stick around tonight, and maybe even we see a few puffy white clouds. But for the most part, it's still going to be more about the sunshine today. Not a lot happening satellite radar composite style. There isn't going to be not a lot, not anytime soon. Not with this big dome of high pressures. Our big weather player, the air pressure, 30.14 inches of mercury. That's way up there, by the way. We're at 62 this morning in Tallahassee. We're at 65 in Valdosta. It's 55 in Thomasville. So there are some numbers in the 50s, but noticeably absent this morning are those numbers that we're starting with a 4, like we had so many of yesterday. It's 65 in Perry to go with that 65 in Valdosta. It's 56 in Bainbridge, 57 at Quincy. The cool spots, Blakely and Camilla, where it's 52. Now, today the breeze will mostly be from the north and northeast, but I think we start to see that turn a little bit more towards the northeast and east. So now we start bringing in a little bit of that Atlantic moisture. I haven't seen a lot of fog out there yet this morning. We'll be looking for some. I think we can find some patchy fog. But throughout the day today, as we start to bring in that Atlantic moisture, I think we'll start to cook up a few puffy clouds. It's not going to be a cloudy day. It's going to be a lot more sun than clouds. But I don't think it's going to be straight up blue like we've had for the past several days. Now, any energy that's off to the north and west is going to get stuck there. That drier air, what we see here on the orange coloring, starting to scooch away a little tiny bit. So just the beginnings of a few changes that will allow for a couple of things to be different, including getting a couple of puffy white clouds and also feeling a little bit more of that humidity. Now, high pressure is still going to be the big weather player, and more will reassert itself from over the Gulf, and that likely keeps any of the boundaries away, any of the energy away, and anything that would change up this forecast dramatically, that's all kept away too. So a lot more of the same, just that gradual increase in some of the moisture, and where it's going to start to feel maybe just a little bit warmer and a little bit more humid, not middle of summer stuff, but not like we had last week with all that cool and dry that really felt like the middle of fall. Now, as far as the tropics go, there's not a lot going on out there. We're still watching Oscar, or what's left of Oscar. We're still calling it a tropical storm, even though it's getting harder and harder to pick out that center. 40-mile-per-hour sustained winds, so it's still a tropical storm, even if it's just barely. It's been moving to the northeast for a while now, going to pull away from the Bahamas and race off to the north and east, where it'll eventually fizzle out. We'll continue to keep an eye on this, especially as it gets up near Bermuda, but it's not coming anywhere in the United States, and it's the only area of energy out there currently. The winds will be relaxing, plenty of sunshine on the Gulf. Those breezes maybe a little bit higher early, up to about 18 knots, more down to like 5 to 15 this afternoon. We'll put the seas at like 1 to 3 feet, so better for the boater, still not great. 50s, 60s, less cool this morning. Sunrise time 7:45. This afternoon, I think a lot of us are going to get to the mid-80s. We got to 84, 85 yesterday. We'll get there again today. We'll call it warm. That breeze will bounce around a little bit from the northeast and east, and I do think it'll be noticeable, but nothing that we're going to call breezy or windy. Tonight it's mid-50s and upper 50s, more clear, more mild, a lot like we had last night into this morning, and the further south and east that you go, the more areas that will stay up over 60. And here's that 7-day forecast where I do think it may be a little toasty over the next few afternoons. Like I said, not middle of summer, warm and sticky, but just a little bit more noticeably humid and a little bit warmer. The overnight temperatures, for the most part, will stay a little closer to 60 than 50 for at least a couple more nights. Now, we'll talk about a little weak boundary trying to get here Thursday, Friday, and maybe another one by the early part of next week. But we need to see that big bubble of high pressure break down first, and it's going to be a couple of days before that happens. So a whole lot more of the same, I think, for these next couple of days.